Tragically, today we announced the deaths of 7 people who have lost their lives to COVID-19, 4 women and 3 men. 1 person was in their 40s, 1 person in their 50s, 2 people in their 70s, 2 people in their 80s, and 1 person who was in their 90s. All of those individuals had underlying health conditions.
No shit.
1 person was not vaccinated, 3 people had received 1 dose of a COVID vaccine, and 3 people had received 2 doses of a COVID vaccine.
All right, cut off. But still here in America, they keep spreading this narrative that we have a pandemic of the unvaccinated. So what the hell's going on in Australia? What's going on in Israel? What the hell's going on in Singapore?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the same vaccines.
Yeah.
So if it's happening there, you mean to tell me that's not happening here? It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated? Fuck you, motherfuckers!
The people who believe it is a worthwhile vaccine and it is saving lives, are they just dead wrong? Are they been fed a line from the federal government?
Tim, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the people that went ahead and got the jab. I speak their language. I would speak to them thusly. Bah, 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 bah. They understand that.
Well, so all these millions of people that got the shots, they're just stupid?
Yep.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then and homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
When I woke up this morning, one of the lead stories was about this problem they had over the weekend with Southwest Airlines.
Southwest Airlines dealing with delays from coast to coast, leaving thousands of travelers suddenly stranded. The airline blaming a number of issues for the slowdowns.
But they say it all stems from Florida. Local 10's Joseph Ojo joins us live from Miami International Airport to explain it all. Joseph.
And this is a nationwide issue that is sure causing a lot of frustrations. We can tell you that the airlines is blaming air traffic control issues as well as disruptive weather, saying that that is the reason for many delayed and canceled flights. Now let's take you to a statement from the Southwest Airlines that reads in part, "We experienced weather challenges in our Florida airports at the beginning of the weekend, challenges that were compounded by unexpected air traffic control issues in the same region, triggering delays and prompting significant cancellations for us. Now we're working diligently to accommodate our customers as quickly as possible. We apologize and we again thank everyone for patience as we work first to be safe and second to be as quick as possible in solving disrupted plans." Now the airline also tweeting out that affected travelers should explore self-service rebooking options. Now we did reach out to Southwest Airlines to find out more, to get a better explanation about what might be actually causing these cancellations and delays. We're still waiting to hear back. Live at Miami International Airport, I'm Joseph Ojo, Local 10.
And that's all the explanation there was. Weather concerns and staffing problems with air traffic control. That's what caused over 2,000 flights to get canceled. What kind of weather concern causes 2,000 flights to get canceled outside of a fucking major hurricane? And that's exactly how it was reported in all the news media. Although I did find one Houston news affiliate that had a little something extra to add.
Southwest Airlines blaming weather and air traffic control issues for the cancellation of some 1,800 flights this weekend. But passengers are telling us that may not be the full story.
Lots of passengers here at Hobby Airport have had their flights either delayed, changed, or canceled. Now some of them are questioning the airline's excuse for why that happened.
This flyer, who asked not to be identified, was trying to get to Corpus Christi from North Carolina for his son's wedding.
Southwest said that there were issues with FAA and the controllers, that flights were canceled because of that.
Luckily, he says the hours he spent on the phone with Southwest paid off. And despite the delays and a lot of stress, he says it looks like he'll make it to the ceremony on time.
I don't like being lied to.
Southwest Airlines wrote in a Facebook post that the problems are related to, quote, air traffic control issues and disruptive weather. However, it didn't appear that other airlines were impacted by either of those on Sunday.
So I asked them specifically, is this about weather? Because if it's about weather, then they cannot provide compensation. And they said, no, it has nothing to do with weather. I said, is this about maintenance? They said, no, it has nothing to do with maintenance. I said, what's the problem?
Ron Frank says his flight to Miami was among those canceled in Houston today. He says the Southwest Airlines representative he spoke with told an entirely different story for the cause of the cancellations.
They said, no, sir, this is all part of the vaccine mandate. We had a massive walkout. They also said that air traffic control had a massive walkout because of the vaccine mandate. But to couch this in terms of 1,000 flights being canceled today because of a quote-unquote thunderstorm somewhere is not believable.
Huh, no kidding. I wonder why all the other news channels would seemingly go out of their way not to mention that as a possibility. They just report it like this kind of thing happens. Even the Washington Post, with their hilarious little slogan of democracy dies in darkness, reports the same thing. Oh yeah, it's just, just staffing problems, just weather concerns. Nothing to be alarmed about, nothing to see here. This would be a perfect example of lying by omission. This past week, a former employee at Facebook came forward, went public as a whistleblower, and I saw her testifying before Congress on TV, and my first thought was, God, she looks a little familiar. And then it dawned on me. I said, holy shit, it's the Scourge of Carpathia, the Sorrow of Moldavia. I thought if anybody challenges this lady and pisses her off, she's gonna go fucking apoplectic like the end of Ghostbusters 2. Bleh. But so her whistleblowing, it's centered around two basic things. One is that the idea of censoring people's free speech, something that Facebook denied for a long time that it did at all, and then once it got revealed that that was bullshit, now all of a sudden they've got a whistleblower coming forward to say that they don't do it enough. Just a little bit of irony there. And then the other part was about how their algorithms and business structure of Facebook, and particularly also with Instagram, were harmful to kids and causing mental health problems. This is something that people have known about forever. I mean, this would be like if a prison guard came forward and said, I want to blow the whistle, people are getting raped in prison. And would you go, wow, what a bombshell. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? What? You mean to tell me that a corporation doesn't care about people's well-being? They only care about profits? Oh my goodness, what a revelation. I never heard of such a thing. Who wasn't aware that social media could be harmful to your emotional well-being? But she gets held up as this brave whistleblower. Amazing how 4 months ago, there was a whistleblower from Facebook that came out that you probably never heard of. I think the only major TV news media that even covered him was fucking Tucker Carlson. But he came forward and showed that Facebook had algorithms to remove content that made people possibly vaccine hesitant, whether or not it was misinformation or not. For instance, if you had a relative that got the shot and then had a heart attack the next day and you posted about it, boom, didn't matter if it's true, didn't matter anything, it just mattered that it could cause hesitancy, so you're fucked. But somehow that was deemed not to be newsworthy, and so nobody wanted to cover it. And when I searched the guy's name, I found lots of articles talking about how he had made a bunch of money, like $500,000 on these crowdfunding sites, and what an awful thing it was. The guy got fired for blowing the whistle. He wasn't going to be making his cushy six-figure salary anymore, so yeah, oh God, no, how dare him get any money. There was one article from Salon about how anti-vaxxers are getting rich thanks to this Christian crowdfunding site. And at the very end of the article, it mentioned the former Facebook employee and self-styled whistleblower. And oh my God, he raised more than $508,000. We got to do something about this. He's not an actual whistleblower. He's a self-styled whistleblower, because thems in the media get to decide who's actually a whistleblower and who's not. Somebody that comes forward and tells people a bunch of shit that they already fucking knew anyway, oh, they're a whistleblower. And she comes out with, oh yeah, what the company has been doing, they just need to do more of it. What a rebel. It's not a problem that they're censoring people's free speech. No, the problem is that they're not doing it enough. It's also been in the news about the possibility of China actually invading Taiwan. The defense minister in Taipei came out and said that they would be ready for a full-scale invasion by 2025. I think that's a little optimistic. I think China could be ready for a full-scale invasion in about 20-25 minutes. And this is something that a lot of Americans probably look at it as like, why the fuck should I care? Well, for a few reasons. One is the percentage of those computer chips that go into new cars. You know how they had to shut down all the auto manufacturing plants? It's because they can't get those semiconductor chips because most of them are produced in Taiwan. And it's not just cars, it's everything. Everything that's got technology in it, which is fucking everything, has to have these semiconductor chips that we don't produce. China produces some, but most of them come from Taiwan. So strategically, for that reason alone, it would be pretty fucking important. There's also the problem that if they invade Taiwan, it's not just going to end there. You also got to worry about Singapore and Japan and the Philippines. Japan is really worried about Taiwan because if Taiwan falls, Japan knows that they're next. Then after the total fuck story that is how we left Afghanistan, China's looking at us like we're weak, because it made us look really weak to just leave a bunch of people behind, leave a bunch of military hardware for the Taliban to have. China sees that happening and figures, hey, you know, now might be our chance. So there's been more and more incursions into Taiwan's airspace, there's been more prodding, there's been more provocative actions like actually rehearsing doing an invasion. These are developments that are worth paying attention to, because if you wake up one morning and you hear that China has launched a full-blown invasion into Taiwan, there's going to be big moves to follow, and it could be the trigger that starts a regional or even world war. And if this had happened a few years back, I wouldn't have worried about it nearly as much, but after watching the way that we totally fucked up simply pulling out of a country, I have a lot less faith in our ability to do anything well. But we'll have to wait and see. It's getting hard not to look around and wonder, who runs this shit show? Is it this doddering old fool who can barely read words off of a teleprompter or piece of paper, let alone give comments off the cuff without sounding like a total fucking moron who's losing it at a frightening pace? Do you really think that he's the one writing these executive orders and coming up with these plans, or just doing what he's told to do? I mean, hell, he basically admits that he's instructed, he's told what to do, and oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. He says that shit left and right. He'll sign whatever's put in front of him. At this point, they're just hoping that he doesn't lose it enough to where he starts pulling out turds and tries to sign him with his own shit. It'd be a little hard to explain that one away. And when I talk to people about the power behind the throne, all too often they'll just roll their eyes and say, oh, so you think there's just this smoke-filled room with mustache-twirling monopoly men vising a way to rule the planet, huh? How could all these rich and powerful people get their shit together and make this kind of plot? It's not like they have any kind of opportunity, except for the fact that there are different groups like the Council on Foreign Relations, or the Trilateral Commission, the International Monetary Fund, World Economic Forum, all these groups of very powerful movers and shakers that get together and discuss things, and it's supposedly for our benefit, us the little people. They're looking out for us. That's why they have to meet in secret every year for the Bilderberg Group. And I suppose if you actually believe that the world's wealthiest man is Jeff Bezos, a guy who his greatest aspiration appears to just be flying off into space on a giant rocket-powered dildo, then yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to think that there's this cabal that's trying to instill a global government and a new world order. But the fact of the matter is, Jeff Bezos is not the richest man on earth, and he never was. Neither was Bill Gates. There are people whose wealth is totally secret. I mean, hell, look at the Queen of England. You're not even allowed to know because it's a state secret protected by national security. all the holdings of the royal family. And I'm not even saying she's the wealthiest person in the world. I'm just saying that the wealthiest person in the world damn sure doesn't want you to know anything about it. We're just supposed to choose between the puppet on the left or the puppet on the right. And each one of them is going to lead you to that right or left paradigm, which takes you further in the direction of more government and less individual rights. How is that a choice at all? Now, I'm not saying that there's just one group of people that have control of everything and we're all just playing out their little fantasy. It's entirely too simplistic to just blame everything on some kind of monolithic group and just say, oh, the Vatican runs the world, or the Freemasons, or whoever. If you've got somebody trying to peddle that, they don't know what they're talking about. Sure, these power blocks exist and they do have power, but there's always power struggles. There's always different management teams that are vying for control. But there is a continuity of agenda, and that agenda includes maintaining tighter and tighter control over society at large. The plebeians, the serfs, the peasants, us, the little people. They don't want us to be well-educated, well-informed, and free-thinking. That is a threat to what they're trying to accomplish. So that's one thing that they can all agree on, that we should be left in the dark because we're too simple-minded to be able to handle such important, consequential issues. We just don't have the mental wherewithal to be able to understand things. They don't even view us as being of the same species. They look at us as being like cockroaches, and they wouldn't bat an eye at 90% of us not being around anymore. In fact, most of them would prefer it. We are the useless eaters, the folks that consume without really producing, and we've reached a point where they don't need us around anymore. With robotics and automation and artificial intelligence, it doesn't take that many people to run the machines and do the paperwork. They don't need us. If you think this doesn't have any relevance to what is going on right now, all over the world, pay more attention. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. Don't fuck with me! I told you! Don't fuck with me! I told you! Don't fuck with me! You stupid fuck! Look at you now! Look at you now!